Okay, so let's finish up real quick what we were just talking about when it comes to text features, okay? So we talked about titles, we talked about subtitles, we talked about illustrations, photographs, bold print, italics, and we were able to find those in our reading, and hopefully you had a book at home that you got to look through to see if you found any on your own as well. So remember, a feature is the most important part of something, and in this case, we're talking about a book or an article or a story or something that you're reading that's going to help you better understand what you're reading more, okay? And remember the difference between a photograph and an illustration was a photograph is an actual picture taking by a photographer that allows you to see what they're writing about in real life. And an illustration is when someone who's super talented, like many of you guys can draw, you know Miss Owens cannot draw, and you guys, or it would be them drawing the picture of what they're talking about, okay? So let's continue with the rest of these text features, and then you get to practice on your own, okay? See if I can, it's not one to work, is it? Okay, here we go. So let's look at this real quick. Let's do one more illustration. Let me read this to you. So how did students stay warm? If you can read this, can you read it with me? Every schoolhouse had a wood or a coal stove. Older students helped to put more fuel into the stove. The warmest place in the schoolhouse was right next to the stove. The other side of the room could get very chilly. Okay, and so then there's a picture of a wood stove, right? And look beside of it. We're going to talk about this in a minute. Okay, look right here. It says this is what many stoves look like. A stovepipe carried smoke outside. So now we have a picture of the stove, so we can understand better what the author just wrote. But here we have what's called a caption, okay? And captions are found underneath illustrations or photographs, and they explain what's in the picture, okay? So where would be the caption on this page, right? So I have bold, I have a heading that's going to tell me what this little paragraph or two paragraphs are about. I have a photograph here, and the caption would be right here. This is a vernal pool in Pennsylvania. So again, this is a photograph because this is a real vernal pool in Pennsylvania. Okay, so captions explain and are written either beside or under pictures. Okay, so if you have a book, you can see if you can find a caption in your own book. All right. So what are some other text features that you can think of? Okay. Well, we have graphic aids. Those are different types of things inside of a book that might display what the reader's talking about. Maybe it could be of an ocean. It'll show you exactly the different layers of the earth if you're talking science. Okay. So those are different graphic aids that help you understand what you're reading. Maps is a text feature. Okay. Timelines. We've talked about timelines a little bit, but remember a timeline is in the order that something happened. So it's a line and it's the order something happened. Bulleted list. Okay. We've talked about this too, but just remember bulleted list. See these little circles right here? That's a bulleted list. So these text features are actually have text features, right? Because it is put in bulleted list. All right. So sometimes if you're reading an article or if you're reading a advertisement or a poster, they'll have bulleted list. A glossary, okay? What is a glossary? Let's talk about a glossary for a second. A glossary is not found in every book, but if it does contain a glossary, it is found in usually the back of a book. And it takes, remember how we talked about italicized words? So a lot of times the author will either bold or italicize words that maybe are really big and you have never heard of them before, those unknown words. And then in the back of the book, it's going to contain a glossary. And then those books are going to, or those words are going to be found in the back with the definition. So you can turn to the back in some books and you'll be able to see what those words mean. Okay, so not all books contain these, but a glossary is found in the back of the book and it helps you know the meanings to unfamiliar words. The table of contents. The table of contents is found in the beginning of a book, okay? And this tells me what page number different chapters or different titles of the chapters are found on. Okay, we have an index. An index is also found usually in the back of a book is an index. Okay, and this will tell you the page number for different words or different specific things you're looking for in a book. Okay, sidebars. So sidebars are little notes. I don't know if you've ever read a book and they have like little bitty notes like on the bottom or on the side of a book. Those are little sidebars. Again, just helps you understand more about what you're reading. And then we talked about captions. Captions are found underneath or beside pictures that explain what the picture is about. Okay, so think a minute. What have you learned about text features? Is there anything new you've learned? Okay, and then what do you still wonder about text features? Okay, so now that you've watched 2 videos and you understand text features, you are now going to do the worksheet called Bengal Tigers. And you'll see that Bengal Tigers has bold words. You'll see it has pictures, it has captions, it has headings. It contains a glossary at the bottom of the paper, and on the back. So if you turn to the back of Bengal Tigers, there are 7 questions, and it's asking you different things about those text features to see if you can find them. So after you practice that, you're going to have an exit ticket. And the exit ticket, I want to know, what can you do? What can you find on your own about text features? Okay, so I hope that better explains what text features are. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me or email me. But let's keep becoming better readers as we not just read our words, but we comprehend and understand what we're reading. Good job today, kiddos. I miss you and see you soon.